Have you ever thought about writing a book? We're spending a bit of time at home at the moment, so it's a perfect opportunity to write a book. You've heard the expression, inside everyone, there is a book. Well, you might have years of experience in a certain industry, you might have some fascinating life stories. The question is, how do you do it? How do you get started? And today's guest is Andrew Jobling. Andrew is the best-selling author of 7 books, including The Wellness Puzzle. And he's been on the show before talking about health and well-being. What you don't know is that Andrew has helped hundreds of people to write a book and launch it. Andrew can help you take the idea out of your head and convert it to a book on the shelf. Hi Andrew, and welcome back to Over 50 So What? Great to have you back again. And this time it's going to be something a bit different. Last time we were talking about wellness and health, and now with your expertise as a best-selling author, you're going to help explain to everybody how you get started as an author, because you've helped hundreds of people to write a book. So there's people sitting at home now thinking, how do I do this? How do I get started?
Carol, firstly, thank you for having me. Always good to be back on your show and talking to your wonderful audience. How do you get started? Well, I guess the first thing you've got to do is have a message or a story or something you want to write about. And I think that's the first step. The second step, always when I talk to aspiring authors, and I work with a lot of them, is what do you want the book to do? What result do you want the book? Do you want to entertain people? Do you want to inspire people? Do you want to sell lots of copies? Do you want to make lots of money? Do you want to open doors and opportunities? And you've got to think about what's the end result. Then the third thing you've got to do is get started and not overthink it and not doubt yourself and not worry about whether you're good enough or not, and just get going.
You've worked with a lot of people I know that are over 50, first-time authors. What sort of topics are people writing about?
In fact, most of the people I'm working with are probably in that stage of life where they've got some experience and they've got some wisdom and they want to share it. So people are writing about their experiences, they're writing about their overcoming challenges, they're writing memoirs, they're writing self-help stuff. Some of them are writing fiction. Some of them are writing stuff for kids that will help kids. So really, I mean, what you write about is, again, it's in your heart. And I would say if you're watching this and you've got something, a message or something you've learned in your life that you think is going to have an impact on people, that's what you build your book around.
Now, I understand you mentor people right through the whole process, from the original idea to writing the book to getting it published. And then there's a couple of options when it comes to publishing. There's like a self-publishing or actually getting an established publisher. Can you explain to the viewers like that whole process and what the difference is at the publishing end?
I will. And what I will say, Carol, is the end goal of what I'm doing with people is not to get published, because that's the beginning as far as I'm concerned, because my whole attitude is not about the book. You're writing a book to have an impact on someone else. You write a book to change lives. So the whole process starts with a vision and a dream, and I guess, as I said earlier, I thought about what sort of impact do I want to have on the world. And with an idea of a book, there's a planning stage that needs to go into it to create a really good outline for the book. Then writing it has challenges, and the biggest challenge will be your own self-doubt and your own self-belief, and trying to perfect something before you've even written it. And so just getting into a routine of writing every day and allowing yourself to write badly and knowing that you'll improve it and it will get better until you've got a finished draft. And then obviously it needs to be edited and polished to the point where you're now ready to get it published. And then you need to decide, Carol, whether you want to self-publish or go for a traditional publisher. There's stories of success either way, but let me just tell you, both have their challenges. To self-publish means you pay for everything, you do everything. That's effectively the definition of self-publishing. You do it yourself, everything. So if you're not sure what to do, or you don't have the time, or you don't have the resources, or you're doubting that, then I don't necessarily think self-publishing is right for most people. But the one thing about self-publishing, you can do it quickly. I mean, if you've got the money and you've got someone you can work with to get it produced, then you'll get a book out quicker. But the question then is always, what do you want to do with the book? So remember, it's not about the book. Now, the reason I've always gone with a traditional publisher is because my vision is big. I want to change the world. I want someone to partner with me to take that book out to media and to television and radio and newspaper and magazine and distribute it into bookshops and get it international. And that's what you get with a traditional publisher. It's a lot harder to find one of those because you've got to submit and you've got to be strong enough and resilient enough to deal with rejection, and you've got to be patient. And once the book's published, then the fun starts. That's when the fun starts. That's when, you know, you get to do book launches and you get to speak on radio and you get to do stuff like I'm doing with Carol.
Yeah, it's not all just about the book, like you said. It's that everything that goes with it as a platform to leverage your message right across social media, right across the world, if that's what you're after, or could just be Australia. And you help people with the whole process, and that includes the marketing and the promotion and the launches and that at the other end.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think any book coach that only helps you get published is not helping you at all, because, you know, what's the point of going through all that process to write a book and have a book if it doesn't go anywhere? That's not why you write the book. You know, it's not about the book. I mean, I never wrote a book because I wanted to say I'm an author. That's not why I did it. I wrote the book because I wanted to, number one, I wanted to impact people's lives. Number two, I wanted to create some financial options for myself. And number three, I wanted to love my life. I had a very powerful vision of what I wanted. The book was just the key to unlock the door to allow me to live that.
And if you have that really powerful vision, that would give you the motivation to actually put in the effort to write the book. And that will help you get started and help you get going, just focusing on that vision.
Totally. Once it's in your heart, then there's no stopping. And I know when I decided to write my first book, it was the worst possible time. It was such an illogical, crazy decision. I had no background experience, qualifications. I had no time. I had two businesses. One was failing miserably. I had to focus on other things. But in my head, I visualized what I wanted. In my heart, the desire was strong. So there's no circumstances that will stop you from success when you know what you want and when you're willing to do what it takes to get there. And not saying that it's difficult, but it will take focus.
And would you know how old the oldest person is that you've ever helped to write a book? Like if there's someone watching in their 80s, have you had anyone in that age group?
Now who's in her 80s, and she's just at the stage where she's starting to submit her manuscript to publishers. But most of the people I work with, as I said earlier, are over 50, in their maybe 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, wanting to write or writing books, because it's at that stage of life where, you know, if you're watching this and you're in that age, well, you've got wisdom, right? You've got a message. People that will be inspired by you long after you're gone. People will be inspired by you all around the world. That's the power of a book. And it's been such a wonderful thing in my life to know that I have an impact on lives of people I will never meet and people's lives that long after I'm gone. And it all started with one simple decision, illogical, crazy decision to become an author, and everything has changed in my life since that decision.
Oh, Andrew, thank you so much for that. I'm sure the viewers have a great overview now of just how to do this whole process, and now it's just up to them to get started. So as a final comment to get them started, what would you say?
Stop overthinking it. Stop doubting yourself. Stop worrying whether you're good enough. Get started, because the first step will lead you to the second step. Get into motion, get into action, and you'll find that with each step you take, the more confidence you'll build, the more belief you'll create in yourself, and before you know it, you'll be a successfully published author.
Excellent. Well, thanks for being on the show. We look forward to seeing you again soon. If you'd like to know more about writing a book, just drop us a note through Facebook or through the website. We'd love to hear from you. Go write that book. Now today we're going to do hips and abs, which is down on the floor. If you want to do some of this standing up, let's look at some options. When you do the leg raises, you can hold the back of the chair and just lift your leg to the side. Now when you do this, just make sure that you're pushing out with your heel rather than your toe. So you're just lifting out to the side with your heel. And that's it. When it comes to the abs, you can do this sitting on the chair. So while you're on the chair, put your hand behind your waist, pull your tummy in so you're pushing against your hand. And once you get used to that, you can take your hand away, just pull your tummy in and relax. So when we're doing this on the floor, you just pull your tummy in and relax. Great for supporting your back, helping to prevent back pain as well. So let's do hips and abs. Welcome to 5-Minute Fitness. We're going to do some floor exercises today, so I thought I'd show you how to get down to the floor so you've got less stress on your knees and your back. So put one foot forward, hands on the thigh, lower it down onto one knee, both knees, hands, put your bottom down and slide it out and relax. And we're ready to go. So, legs straight on the top, put the heel to the ceiling, put the toe down to the ground. Here we go, lift, lift, lift. That's it, just keep thinking of the heel to the ceiling. And we're working the gluteus medius here, helping to support the whole of the hip joint. So this is great for someone like myself that's heading for a hip replacement to help stabilize the hip area. Just do as many as you can and then have a rest if you get tired. Now we're going to hold it up. Then you're going to take the knee down right opposite the chest here and push back. So it's down and back, down. Keep it going. So if you do get tired, just rest the leg, little pat. Just do a few more. Okay, now you can roll over to the back. I'm just going to swivel around. Face the other way. Bend the knees, relax the head, straight leg on top, toe pointing down to the floor. Lift, lift. That's it. You should start to feel it right there. Lift, lift. Keep it going. Okay, we're going to do what we did before. Take the knee down opposite the chest. Down and back. Down, back. Down. That's it. Just a few more. Okay. Bend the knees, roll over onto the back. We're going to do some abs. Hands up, keep the head up, looking out just over the top of the knees. See if you can keep the head in this position, like you've got a fist distance there. Up. So we're just doing little ones. Just watch out for the cat, he might jump on your stomach any minute. So strengthening abs. Bit more resistance. And a few more. Okay, now we're going to do some work on the glutes. Okay? Lift the bottom up, down, up, down. Squeeze the buttocks. Squeeze, down. Squeeze, and down. That's it. Roll over onto your side. And this is how we get up. We get up onto our knees like this. Up onto the knees. One leg forward and push up. Now, to get up, you could use a chair if your knees are a bit dodgy. So you could use a chair to push up or your thigh. So push up. And that's it. We'll see you again tomorrow. It's time for a change. So this week, Evelyn is going to be discussing with Jenny a few different things to find out where she's coming from, what her values, what she enjoys, to get an idea before she begins the styling process. So now it's all over to Evelyn. Hi Evelyn, now we've got Jenny ready to go, and I believe with all the customers and all the clients you work with, you do a bit of investigative work first, you know, a bit of detective work before you start styling them. So I'm going to throw it over to you now to work with Jenny, and we'll see what happens.
Jenny, you know, we know each other from, way back. I believe that we worked together for about 10 years ago. And, you know, it is true that everybody needs a bit of an image reset occasionally. And this is your image reset. And I've, 10 years later, congratulations. You didn't need me before this.
I'm excited.
I just have to ask you about your hair just now. Is it ready for a colour right now?
Yes, it is, and I have to say that that's one of my concerns, is that when I used to go to the hairdresser and have my hair tinted and coloured, it never really took, and so I had to go and find some way to make my hair one colour. And I found a very good packet in the supermarket, so I've kept it. It's probably been for the last 10 years like this. And I'm a little bit concerned if we change the colour, then I have to change all the colours in my wardrobe.
You know what, Jenny, I must admit, I'm rather pleased. I was just a little bit concerned when I sort of got this idea that you were actually using a bought colour that you put through yourself, but I'm rather loving the colour of your hair.
So what do you want to change?
I want to ask you the state of your wardrobe. You know, I have a feeling that you've got some rather magical pieces in there, but I think you've got quite a lot. How comfortable would you be in flinging open your wardrobe doors like a banshee warrior and showing your neighbours?
I'd be the bravest person on earth if I were to show you my wardrobe. My wardrobe is quite embarrassing. Because it's got too much stuff in there.
I really do want to have a look at the thing, one, they've got to fit properly. Two, they've got to actually suit you colour-wise. And three, they've got to be fairly current. In other words, and I don't assume that you're wearing suits anymore, but because your role is more into smart casual now, you don't have to wear those corporate things anymore. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, if I were to go out to speak, I do need the corporate. I like to go for quality, but it doesn't have to cost the earth.
I'm wondering if we could create some new looks for you out of what you've already got, because it's about how you mix and blend and put things together in totally different ways that you might not have even thought about. So that's something that we'll explore there. Would you say every time that you get dressed that you look at yourself and you think, wow, this looks sensational?
No.
Or, no, not at all. Sometimes you would. Describe a time when you looked at you, describe what you might have been wearing, if you can think of a situation when you thought, right, I am so looking great.
Maybe on my 60th birthday party, and I was a bit thinner than I am now, and I had a very nice sort of pale blue dress. It fitted me perfectly.
So tell me, what would be a really ideal outcome for you? You'd be so happy. We'd be sitting there drinking champagne to celebrate, this great outcome of yours after doing your wardrobe. What would that be?
Oh, that there was room to see what was in there. There was space. That everything was sorted into different outfits, so we've mixed and matched, and so I could just go in and jump in and find a top that went with the bottom.
Wouldn't it be great if we could just do a lookbook for you, putting out the outfits, knowing what goes with what, with the jewellery, the bag, the shoes, the top, the bottom, taking a photo and putting through a lookbook of wonderful outfits for you, so that you can get up in the morning and flick through and think, that's what I'm going to wear today. And everything's there for you.
That would be amazing.
Well, that's what we're going to do with you.
Is that right? Well, I'm excited.
There's a lot of people out there that, have lovely things like you have, and they just forget about how to put it together, or they wear the same thing. They have that top and they think, well, that top has to go with that. And they never think about changing it up or, thinking differently. Well, this is going to be fun.
I think it is. I hope so.
Thank you both for that interesting session. I can tell you for sure, here's one woman that would be embarrassed for people to see her wardrobe. And there will be lots of other people out there, I'm sure. And it's going to be so exciting to see what happens. Big thanks to Evelyn and Jenny. And now Evelyn's got some background information about how she's going to do this styling. We started discussing her hair and a few other things. So it gets really exciting now when we get into the hair and makeup. So come back next time. And if you want to know more information about Evelyn and styling, just jump on Facebook, jump on YouTube, send us a message through the website. That'd be great. And if you have anyone that you think needs a bit of tweaking, a bit of updating, time for a change, let us know. Watching our TV show. Be sure to hit subscribe and we'll send you the latest TV episodes and videos. Like our Facebook page and please send us your comments, your stories and any inspiring people that you know. Over 50, so what?